Welcome into the Minnesota High School Football Podcast, the Week 4 edition of what we've been doing so far, covering the whole state as much as possible, and I've really enjoyed it. Coach Wilkie's been a great addition into this podcast with all the insight, the knowledge he has of just coaches and programs, and he's back once again with more knowledge to probably share and probably more corrections of city names for me.
Yeah, well, I hope more people than you think that, but it is fun being here. I'm glad to do this. It's fun to talk ball, and like I say every week, Minnesota high school football is really, really good, top to bottom, and some great players, amazing coaching, and it's fun to break it down and talk about last week and next week and kind of how things are going. So let's get after this thing again.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll start again with 6A. You guys know the drill if you've been watching. We'll start with 6A, and we'll go down. Before we start, shout out to My 7 on 7. They actually posted they're getting their kind of their youth, not only youth, but just their winter leagues fired up, kind of starting the advertising for it. I've been a part of those coaching-wise. Really good, and it happens really soon after the season. They start in December. And they only had one location, I think, for the most part, at Augsburg University, is we were using their facilities. And now they're going to be at St. John's University and also Mankato. So they'll have 3 different locations for the Winter League. Again, 7 on 7, really good for the skill guys just to stay active. Football is becoming more and more of a year-round sport, kind of like down south is. The trend is happening, so it's fun to see that shift. And if your kids through kindergarten or high school are wanting to stay active, wanting to do football related activities in the winter, it's the number one thing. They do all like the facility work and whatever. You just got to show up and play. You don't even have to have a team. You can sign up as an individual and get a team that way. But very, very good. And I like that it hits pretty much right after the season starts. So there's not a lot of waiting to be had before they get fired up with football again. So it's fun.
Yeah, they do a great job. I will second that. So,
all right. I'm going to pop up the 6A top 25 here. Bam. My top 3 hasn't changed, I think, the whole season. Lakeville South and Centennial are kind of the newer additions, especially Centennial after that Champlain Park kind of butt whooping they put on Champlain on Friday. They're my newest addition to the top 5.
Yeah, I got issues with it, but I think I'm gonna go at you for right away. Eden Prairie.
Yep.
I watched almost that whole game with the Dyna, and if I was doing this, I know you're in charge. My job is to critique it, but I would slide EP up into that 3rd spot. I think offensively and up front on both sides of the ball, they are solid. They are really solid. Edina is a good team, and they struggled. They really struggled, and that tells you a lot. And I think some of the crossover things are tough. I think I would slide Centennial even up there into that 4 spot. I watched most all of that game, and I know Champlain Park had a couple of unfortunate turnovers, but that's part of the game, and Centennial, capitalized on that. I love Centennial's quarterback. I'm more of a passing guy, run pass guy, but his name's Isaac Strauss.
Yeah,
he's solid. He's a scatty little guy, a tough runner, and threw a touchdown pass and had a couple short rushing, but he's solid too. So they're good up front, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm maybe it's horse piece on Shakopee and Lakeville and right in there, but man, Centennial they were tough. So, but I'm still going to take that Eden Prairie up in the 3rd spot, and we'll see after this week. But I'm telling you, there's some matchups coming up that we'll find out maybe if I'm right or wrong.
A side note about Isaac, Centennial's quarterback. I was at the game on the sidelines, and the first play, They do, the classic Centennial play, and he ends up, I don't know how many yards, but he got taken down like right on his shoulder, and that's the worst
Mm-hmm.
happened for a quarterback. And for play one, that was something that I was like, is that going to affect this game, and how? Because he was doing the shoulder shrug, trying. You could tell he was super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Played the whole game, and that shoulder injury happened the first play. I was really impressed with just the toughness.
Well, I think too, he's not a big bulldozy quarterback for a running quarterback, and they do a lot of quarterback follow where he's just right in behind that back, and you got to get your shoulders down. He's tough. He's a tough kid. So yeah, they're a solid team. They are a solid team. So it'll be interesting. I think you could slide those teams around there a little bit in that top 5, but I definitely, if I slid a team down, I'd probably slide Lakeville South down, and I'd probably put EP up in there, and you could mix and match 3, 4, and 5. But that would be my top. If I had to move somebody out, it'd be Lakeville South.
There's some interesting rumblings coming from Shakopee. I'm not going to go too big into the details of what's going on, but I just want to put a pin in the Shakopee at 3rd. I still think they're going to be a good team no matter what happens with the situation. But just a little pin, because that could have some huge playoff implications from what I've heard.
Sure.
So you never know how that's going to go down. I think the EP Edina game was an interesting one, because when I think back to last year, that was one of the biggest games that I went to, and Edina smoked Eden Prairie. Like, it wasn't close. And I know Swinney had a lot to do with that, which he's obviously a Cal now. But that was one of the things where it was really hard to pick, because you've convinced me to be an Eden Prairie believer, especially after me ranking them, I think 19th or wherever it was in the preseason. I wanted to pick them, but last year's game scared me so much that I was like, oh man, that is tough. And I think Edina, I would say they can get pushed around. I think when we saw last year's playoff matchup between Maple Grove and Edina, everybody thought that was going to be a good game, and Maple Grove kind of just leaned on them.
Yeah, the style of offense and defense, sometimes the matchups can matter. There's no question. I think the fact that Edina they can be dynamic. There's no question, but the physicality of the power run game really got to them, and they made some big plays, and like really early in the game, made a nice pass down the sideline, like 30 some yard, and 2 plays later they're sacked and punting. So it's like, I mean, yeah, it's the physicality of that game. I just like Eden Prairie, as far as what they do and how sound they are right now. So we will see after week 4.
Yeah, we're gonna skip Forest Lake just because they beat a Park team by a lot of points. Doesn't need to be a whole lot of analyzing.
Did what they're supposed to do.
And this Prior Lake Rosemount ranking is interesting. I don't know. I think these two teams are really close. I think if I had to say anything, Prior Lake's a better team than what I thought. I think everybody seems to talk about they always have the talent, but it just is a matter of all the other factors that go into it. And I think people even still could be underlooking, because I think I probably have Prior Lake. I think highly or more higher of Prior Lake than a lot of people. Is that? Do you think I have them too high? Do you think
I do? I wouldn't have slid Edina down so far based on who beat them. You know what I mean? Like, I really think if I would switch, Lakeville South down and move, Edina back over into Eden Prairie spot. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where we need to get to week 4, and some things will reveal themselves, as far as the growth of some teams and the struggle of other teams, and and then just the matchups that they're going to get.
Yeah, Prior Lake had that game in hand. Again, a team that could very well, like, you think back to week 1, and I was hoping Forest Lake was going to beat them by a lot, and Prior Lake very well could have won that one. It's a team with a 1-2 record that I don't think made it to my week matchups to watch for this week because they're playing Minnetonka.
Yeah.
But I was messaging Coach Lance, which has been on the podcast, is like Minnetonka got beat by an overlooked Eden Prairie team. Like Eden Prairie was not as good last year as they are this year, and Minnetonka lost to them last season. Now,
we're missing a Big
on
Ten quarterback in that game.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
Okay. So,
but I'm
Milovic
just saying,
makes a difference.
If
so.
I don't know, I feel like maybe the score could surprise people watching in that parlay game. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that, and they lose by 52.
Yeah, I don't think it's something like that, but I mean, like I said, there are some power teams. I don't want to judge. I'm not going to judge. I don't like judging last year's scores for this year. I think tradition can matter. There's no question about it. Last year's games don't win this year's games. Last year's losses don't lose this year's losses. You always have to tell your kids that, because sometimes there's a trend going on. But every team is, every team is new. Every team is individual. Like different leaders and, their off-season work and all those types of things. So tradition matters. There's no question. But, the talent on the field is really going to show through here. So I'm not going to disagree with you on Prior Lake. I'm not totally sold on Rosemont being that high. I think Edina-Rosemont matchup, Edina wins that one by a couple touchdowns, I think. So, but, we'll, time will tell.
Time will tell on all of this.
Yeah.
Just the
yes, it will. Yes, it will. Yeah.
Well, let's go to Moorhead with Feeney being out. They didn't really have a chance against Tonka.
No.
I feel bad. He's going to come back at some point. It's not a broken collarbone, which is good. The timetable still a little shaky on when he's going to come back, but sounds like he'll be back. So that's positive news.
Well, and where that can goof things up too is seeding.
Yeah, right.
You get a team that misses a great player like that and ends up, I don't know, maybe they can win a couple more games. Maybe they end up 3-5. I don't know, without him. And then they get this seed where they end up knocking off a higher seed. It's just some of that kind of stuff can get goofy. So, but I hope he does come back. I mean, it's a shame to have some of those, any player missing, but especially a high profile player like that.
Yeah, it messes up the seeding in a conference that doesn't need messed up seeding in the West. So you're already going to get an upset alert in round one of the playoffs.
That is sure. You got it. I agree with that.
Farmington, undefeated, 3-0. I know I got a lot of guff about not having them in the top 25 at all. I think I was looking at their schedule. Lakeville South, Rosemount, Egan, Shakopee, Prior Lake. Am I crazy to say? I mean, this is probably the highest they're going to get. I'm sorry. I know Farmington probably already hates me, but I see one win in the rest of those games.
Yeah, that's a gauntlet to go through. I mean, everybody's positive about their team, but I think there's some reality in there as far as the strength of schedule for them. And, I think I don't think you're wrong on that. I think that
is a big shift because they played Eastview, Lakeville North, and White Bear Lake their first three games, and that's why they're 3-0. That was kind of my whole point of not having them in the top 25. But I threw my bone. I think a 3-0 team deserves to be ranked, no matter who they play. But only again, time will tell, especially for Farmington.
What's up with you and Hopkins?
Man, I thought Hopkins, I think, is the best of the worst. Okay, that's what it is.
Well, then they're one line too high.
If they play, well, are you thinking that's Woodbury? That's not Hopkins.
I'm just saying. Oh, I'm sorry. See, this is that small graphic thing.
See, it's all right. Hey, and you're
that
not the
graphic
only.
Is the size of a thumb, like just tiny.
I have the benefit. I can see it on a bigger screen than you.
I'm gonna start putting it on my big screen
and I'll give it to you.
I thought that was you had Hopkins Woodbury, right there. I'm like, you got Hopkins ahead of Blaine and
Hopkins and Woodbury. Hopkins and Woodbury. If you squint, they do look very similar.
Okay, so then I'm back. Then I'm good. I was like, what are we doing right now? Anyway,
no, and people have said I've had Hopkins too high, which I'll probably admit I have in the last 3.
We all have our biases.
Yeah. Hey, I have No biases. I have no horse in the race anywhere except in Forest Lake, and I'm very conscious of it.
All right. I'm not as conscious, but go ahead.
I mean, anything else in these bottom two lines?
Bottom two lines, I want to slide over to the far right, the Blaine Anoka score. I'm really disappointed for Anoka. I mean, I think they had pretty high hopes coming into the season, and I know they played a pretty tough schedule and had some tough losses. And I thought, and Blaine's been having their quarterback problems and scoring points, and for them to, basically, I think was it 21-0. I don't have my notes in front of me, but I thought it was 21 rock, and Blaine got them, and so for Blaine to score on them that much and to shut out Anoka,
I think 41-30.
Oh, 41-30. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Blaine is struggling to score points and put
Anoka scored 22 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, so I'm going to discount it. But so how many points did Blaine have? I don't have the box score in front of me. Because I saw
41. It was 40. Yeah, 41-30. Blaine wins.
Okay,
and
so
it looks a lot better because Anoka scored 22 in the fourth.
Well, I was just saying, Blaine was struggling to put points on the board, and I felt like Anoka's been a pretty good defensive team. And so maybe Blaine's got some stuff figured out, or maybe there's some injuries. I don't know, but that score kind of raised my eyebrows. So, I mean, Anoka's kind of sliding right now, and maybe Blaine is feeling it. I would honestly, after that win and seeing the loss Rogers had to Osseo, because I don't think Osceo's a great team either, and Rogers stumbled there. I mean, Blaine might be all the way over, on the first line,
right.
in that first spot, or they might be up there at Farmington. I don't know. We'll see this week. But Blaine looked a lot better. I mean, I think I just looked at a few of the clips, but that's a tough one. So otherwise, I think that's all we got in that one. I think the stuff at the top is what's getting really interesting, those top 10 teams and how they're going to slide back and forth. I don't see anybody in row 3 on this chart, honestly, making a huge move into that up out, maybe into the second line, but not into the first line. I don't, but
I think the only one, I think there's 3 after seeing Champlin's game. No, against Centennial. I think Andover, Moorhead when Feeney comes back, and I think Stillwater could be a team that a lot of people are sleeping on it. I think that's going to bring kind of transitions into one of my matchups to watch, which we'll get over to. This Stillwater Mountains View game, I think is intriguing to me. It's got 2 of the teams that may be expected to challenge Forest Lake as being the 1 seed.
Sure.
And I think they both got to underwhelming starts for strength of schedule reasons.
Right.
When they go up against good teams, I think they're 1 and 2, both of them. And going into it, you look at the records and you don't think it's a good game, but I think it is going to be a way better game than what the records say they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from a coaching standpoint, you got to look at what you have in front of you. So you've got a win under your belt, and you just got to get something rolling. It's always, you can only win 1 game at a time, but whoever does win this game does set themselves up for a little better movement going forward. The team that loses this game is putting themselves in a really tough situation, being 1 and 3, and now you're looking at that rest of that schedule, and it's still tough. But I think you can build some confidence this week, and you could really get some momentum going, especially Stillwater team. I agree with them. They might be the best 1 and 2 team around based on strength of schedule.
Yeah, let's go diagonal upwards. That's Andover Centennial.
Yep.
Another really intriguing one to me that we just saw how Centennial matched up with Champlin. And if we can remember, I know we can get in trouble comparing box scores and whatever, but this Champlin Park team really challenged Andover. It's going to be interesting to see what level they are.
I guess I want to see. The only thing that concerns me of this is looking at how Andover, they had some struggles stopping the run game against Champlin, and that's concerning, especially since that's what Centennial does.
Right.
I do feel historically that Andover has passed the ball better against Centennial than most of the teams that they play when we played at that level. So I do see a game where Andover can win this game. They got to have a good, solid effort on defense to stop the run. But I do feel like this could be a high-scoring game. Joe Mapson could have a big game running the ball again, and this could be one of those, 35-30 games, you know what I'm saying, where there's over-under to me is at 60 on this. So I think it could be a high-scoring game and kind of who has the ball last. So I like your pick on that one. It is a toss-up. It just depends on a couple things. Andover's got to be able to score, and they got to be able to stop that run game. Otherwise, they'll have a tough time getting the ball back if they don't.
If you know anything about Andover's 5A schedule, like Elk River, I think is a fair comparison to compare the Centennial team to. Of that's kind of the offense, not exactly, but the style that they're going to be. Like Centennial is going to run the ball, and that's what Elk River does.
Yeah.
And Andover's historically been okay when it comes to playing Elk River.
Yeah, they've done a good job with that. I think you're right. Like Centennial is a power running team, not the same type of scheme, but they're gonna do that. I think what gets you against those teams, and Elk River included, is the time of possession thing starts getting to you as a coach. Where it's these 4th and 1s that they pick up at the midfield part, and you can't get them off the field, and the clock's chewing. So there's times where you're only down by a touchdown, but you're looking at the clock going, I don't know if we're going to get the ball back. So if they score here, right? So I think this is one of those games where I'm usually a defer if I win the toss guy, but this might be one of those games where if you win the toss, Andover might want to take the ball and try to stay on the add-in side of that.
Yeah, and then these last 2 games we'll touch on really quick. I think they're test games for both Farmington and Rosemount. Are they as good? I think Rosemount, it's less of a test because I think Rosemount is on a higher level than Farmington in my eyes. Mm-hmm. But I think similar games through my lens.
Yeah, I guess between those 2 games, I think Farmington has a better chance to keep that game close against South than Rosemount has to keep it close against Shockoe, unless your inside information is telling you there's something that's going to cause that. But I'm saying as it's been, that's how I see it, just based on what they've done and the type of teams they have. But again, Shakopee is going to do to you what Centennial and Elk River do. They're going to ball control. They're going to go for it on 4th downs and make it really difficult for you to get your offense in sync when they get going. So if you can't stop the run and get the ball back from them, more often than not, you're not going to have enough possessions to win the game. It puts a lot of pressure on your play calling for me as an offensive coach, of feeling patient, because you know what you're up against.
Yeah. Shakopee's lost a really good player. They played him in weeks 1 and 2. But not in 3, and they didn't have any trouble. So, it's not that that it's a huge deal, but I think it is more of a factor once you start getting into later on in the season.
Sure. I guess my call on this is I think the Lakeville South score will be closer than the Rosemont Shockoe score.
I would like to challenge that. I don't know. I think we should get the other way going, but we'll see.
All right, I'm ready for it.
Class 5A, I think this is a really good week for 5A football. Just when I look at a lot of the matchups, and we'll get to some of those. But, yeah, man, pretty much a lot has stayed solid in 5A compared to, like where everything started and such. But is there anything that pops out in your eyes?
Well, I mean, Elk River just is having a hard time getting tested by anybody, to be honest with you. They're a 6A school. I know I've been saying this all year. I mean, I wish Coach Hamilton would have said, let's give this a shot and move up and see how they do. But as it is, I mean, they're going to have a tough time having a close game. So they did what they had to do. I like Chan. I finally got to watch more film this week, and I was telling you, I really, really love the quarterback. And he is, tell me his name again. I had it on my sheet.
Nathan Ramler.
Yeah, Ramler. God, I just like watching the film. I'm a quarterback guy. I've trained quarterbacks for years. And I'm a big fan of a 6'6" quarterback, in the pass defense, and I like his footwork in there. He keeps his eyes up, and obviously he's got a really good target to throw it to. But man, they are really solid. That'll be a fun matchup of 2 really different types of teams. So, but otherwise in that top, I don't know. I got to watch Alexandria play, I guess. But they look good. I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. When you say Elk River hasn't been tested, I think Bemidji is like raising their hand, like, hello,
Yeah.
come on, week
Yeah.
one, we gave them a run. But I get what you're saying by that, because St. Francis, uh, a surprising team at the start, and Elk River's like, no, hold on, guys, you're
Yeah.
not. Yeah, you're not. Which was a call by you of saying, that they're gonna get absolutely lit up when they play Elk River, and man, you were right.
Well, and I think too, like sometimes first games, if you're going to upset a team, first game is your best shot usually. If you have a veteran team against a high-powered, high-ranked team, and they've got some new players out there, sometimes you catch them off guard. So that's the thing. I can't see your graphic. Is that Mankato East in your fourth spot?
Yep.
Okay. What I loved about that is you think about the history of Mankato high school football, and it's just west, 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 right? 13 years of Mankato East getting beat by West.
Yep.
And they get I think they have a trophy, the Cato Jug, and East wins that. That's a cool flip of the page for them. So
I wanted to make the trip down there to go to that game,
I bet that was
because
electric. I bet that was really electric in there.
and I ended up being sick this weekend, like I was telling you. So the 2.5-hour drive was just not.
For sure. My notes that I took just going through all these 19 years since they beat.
I
That's
think
wild,
I saw them
man.
on social media. Yeah.
So that's cool. Really cool. That's fun to flip that. So that's good. I mean, the guys keep telling you, man, we want all the teams to be competitive. It makes it more fun.
Yeah. Buffalo's a team that's been, I don't think I had them in my top 25 going into the season.
Sure.
And other than a 1-point loss to Brainerd, which I have one spot in front of them, they would be an undefeated team in this 5A, swing, which is a little weird, because Buffalo has not been, like, when they were in 6A, again, they were
they were 6A they were the 6A playoffs, but they were 5A regular season.
For the past 2 years?
Well, no, I'm saying if you look historically back.
Oh, I got you.
So they were playing, because we played against them in the 5A level when I was coaching at Andover.
Got you.
The Aiden Bauman era.
Because these last 2 years they went to 6A, and they would beat all the Maroon teams, which is the lesser, the lesser teams in 6A, but then they'd play a Forest Lake round 1 and get, absolutely smoked. Yeah. And when I look back, I think remember doing their last, 5 years, even in 5A when they were there 3 and 4 years ago, it sounded like they were real good. So I just think something to keep an eye on. I know we talked about their quarterback already, a couple of their playmakers that they have. Yeah. I think they could make some noise. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, we'll see. Again, kind of looking in that line, Chaska's solid. Good coaching staff. They are really sound. They're a team that I like where you have them there, only because I think that matchup right above them, from as physical a team as they are. I watched some of their clips in the last couple of days. They do some really good things. I think seeing them against St. Thomas or East or Alexandria, like, I think that style, like, they're closer to their neighboring school, Chan, in far as how good they are, I think. So that's going to be a fun. You got to look on the schedule board and see when that rivalry matchup is. Hopefully last game. Yeah,
Section 2 in 5A. Chanhassen, Chaska, Waconia, and Mankato East.
Do you have
Mankato West? Mankato West is down this year, but usually, like, Section 2 of 5A is kind of like the West, and 6A have just so many good teams all in one section.
I want to see. Do you have that schedule in front of you for that when Chaska Chan play each other?
Can search it up real quick.
Yeah, same. That's one that
Chaska Chan, Friday, October 3rd.
Oh man,
at Chaska.
So that's the one. Like, if you look at their schedules leading up to that, I mean, those kids have been playing against each other since they were in, second grade probably. So yeah, that'll be a fun one.
There's even this week the good matchups start taking place. We're gonna really see. Before we move on, Tartan, I think, is a team that I went to one of their games last year and they
Mhm.
were bad. And I
Mhm.
was like, this is a hard watch. And this year it's kind of flipped. They got a running back that's from Texas, a transfer that has opened some eyes. Matamidai also a team in front of them that the quarterback is not playing. It's going to Texas Tech, but he reached out to me and is like, this team's legit. And I think that's cool to just see, like somebody from their high school just advocating that was a part of their team, not really a part of their team anymore. And he's
Sure.
recognizing that maybe the team's better, than what the team was last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like there's dynamics that come into play, whether it's players that transfer in or players that mature, the sophomores that become juniors that you hadn't heard of before. So definitely not. I haven't watched their clips. I'm going to do a little homework now that you're bragging them up. I've watched some Cretan. I like Cretan too. Like they're a dynamic team. I think I'd probably slide them more left over closer to SLP. But this is the week 4 is a tipping point in the schedule for a lot of teams. When you teams that are going to go from 2-1 to 2-2 or 1-2 to 1-3, and some teams that are still looking for a win. So it's
right.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think week 1 is still scaring me about Cretan when they go against a more stronger opponent, I would say. But the Matamidi Cretan game week 7 looks to be definitely a good one.
Yeah, for sure.
Intriguing matchups. Chanhassen, STA, really good one. Nothing needs to be said about that one. Elk River, Alexandria, another really good one. Mankato East, Chaska. We talked about how good Chaska and Mankato East was. That's a game that's
this will tell you if East is for real, because I do think Chaska is solid. The Elk River game, you can tell me like I'm crazy, but I mean, I think Alexandria is going to get exposed. I mean, they've seen Elk River before, and I know Alexandria has a great passing scheme, but I'm just telling you, Elk River they're going to handle the ball and make it really tough. We want that to be good, but I just have a feeling it's not. As far as I want to go back up because I think that St. Thomas Academy game is a teller right really there. Good. Like you want to see if St. Thomas Academy, because they've had some dynamic plays this year, big plays on special teams and everything else, and you want to see how they can stand up to a team that really thinks they can win the state championship. And that'll tell you something. That's a character builder game. The Buffalo Armstrong game, see if Buffalo's for real. This is a game. If they're for real, this should be a 2 or 3 score game for them. Victory.
Yeah, and definitely matchups that are going to be very fun to look at highlights and stuff like that.
Man.
See where teams lie. But all right, for a Byron saying at my number 1 spot, Kassan Manterville.
Hold on, I'm going to correct it. It's Casson.
Okay, let's go into this because I was thinking about, because somebody corrected on the YouTube comments, Casson Manterville. All right.
Yep.
And I was thinking, what's the origin of me mispronouncing this? Because there might be, my last name is Casa. Through my childhood, everybody's pronounced my name as like Casa. Okay. And I was like, no, it's Casa. It's wrong.
Like,
and when we go into
Spanish
Kassan,
version with a K,
yes,
like the house.
Yes,
I got it.
So Kassan, you can see where
I think.
Kassan,
let me help you with this. If you and no disrespect to the Kassan, if you took the K off of the word,
okay. Maybe I should just go Manterville. Or
no,
KM.
It's ASS, Cass. Yeah, you got it, Casson.
It's just,
and they'll appreciate that.
I told you the origin behind.
I was telling you, I was down there this summer. We were down there for a couple events, and those are great people down there. I will tell you, I watched the highlights of that game before we get too far. They are good. Their quarterback is a stud. I know I like just talk quarterbacks all the time, but they run inside outside veer option. And that quarterback is a dude. They were down early and then threw a touchdown pass to go up 14-12. And man, like I said, they did some really good things. I think, I don't want to undersell their defense either, because you're going against a really solid team. So, like I said, you got to have these matchups to find out who's for real, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casson, Manterville.
Yep. Yep.
Fergus Falls was a team that I had high, that, if I'm remembering right, they were one of the teams that moved up into 4A from 3A. I had them high. I kind of went down on them a little bit, just because based on them struggling with some of lower, not struggling, but the scores were not as big as I wanted them to be against some of the opponents that they were playing. But Becker going down 2 times early on in the season, Fergus Falls being the other suspect.
That's a good example of, and I'll give Fergus Falls credit if you want to start talking about a team that, you thought had some ability and maybe wasn't living up to it early. But, I think playing a team like Becker at that level, and maybe this is super hyperbole, but at those levels, when you have teams that are super successful like Becker, that's an Eden Prairie type history down there for Becker. So some of these schools, they don't beat Becker very often, and sometimes the game is kind of over in warmups. Some of these teams are intimidated by their success. So I'll give Fergus Falls a lot of credit, and that game wasn't even close. So they did. That's impressive. So I don't have a problem putting them up in that top one. That's a heck of a win.
Yeah, I think Totino Grace is again getting higher as the season goes on. I get they replaced a lot of talent, but that's a team that you look at what they were last year. I know you said you don't like to look at that, but you saw so many people graduate from the team that now there's going to be fresh meat to an extent coming in and replacing it, and it's only going to be a team that, as you get more experience, is probably going to get better.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. I still think, I don't know, did you feel like you needed to move? How far down did you put Stewartville? These logos are so small.
6.
Dude, 6. Oh my goodness. They're like a number 2 team. They just fall all the way out of the first row.
Okay. BSM had a closer score than what it looked like.
Yeah. I don't know.
I get it when it is 2 top 5 teams playing and whatever. But also what happened to Fergus Falls? Fergus Falls had a big win that kind of they did something to justify that. It wasn't just Stewartville losing and
sometimes maybe a team. Yeah, sometimes a team can, that can be like a wake up call. Maybe Cass and Manorville kicked the hornet's nest, for Stewartville, and maybe honestly, you guys, they come back to practice on Monday and guys they're upset because they have a goal in mind, and all of a sudden they got shocked, and it'll be interesting. I want to see how they run out the next couple of weeks, because I got a feeling they're going to slide back up there in that first row for you.
Shout out SMB, got to watch them in person.
Yeah.
Good team that is a undefeated team. If I'm remembering right, I'll double check that just to make sure. Yes, they are undefeated, but again, it's one of those wait and see, because they've only played, Winona which is, a decent team, especially what we see now. But again, wait and see. They play BSM, Vanille St. Margaret, this week. So I think that's a good test for even the both of them, just to see it.
I to pause for 1 second, back to 5A. I forgot I made notes in here just on a personal note, but Rochester Century get their first win of the season, beat Owatonna, traditionally really solid team in 5A. Offensive coordinator Cade Sheehan with his first win too. So shout out to Cade on that one. That's super cool, man. So did I.
They played Tartan tough too.
Yeah.
Which at the start of the season I didn't think much of because I didn't think Tartan was good, but the more Tartan wins, the better that loss looks as well.
What's fun to me is, because I'm selfish, but I look at their clips and I see some stuff I recognize out on that field. So I like some scheme things that are going on. So that makes me happy. So anyway,
the Wilkie tree.
Yeah, I mean, it's just cool, man. It's pretty cool. He's doing it well. All right, who else in this 4A thing we got to talk about?
I don't know. I think if we hop forward to just some of the games we already talked about, some of them, the BSM SMB game is a good one. Zimmerman and Fergus Falls. If this game wasn't 4 hours away on a Friday, or like this would be a game that I'd want to get to. I think with my work schedule, I'm not going to be able to get to it. That one's, I would say, the most intriguing for this one.
Do you think Zimmerman has a chance against Fergus Falls, or are you just throwing Fergus up there because they're team of the week? I think
I put it. I don't know. I could see it going either way. And I know I think Fergus Falls is a good team as well, but Zimmerman I think is also a good team in its own right. They beat a Delano team that I think is in one of my top 25s. I don't know if they're in this one or the next one. But again,
I'm giving Fergus the edge just on the bus ride.
Right.
I mean, honestly, that's
I didn't even know where. Thing. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to figure out where Fergus Falls is?
No, I searched it up.
You're almost to Fargo. You're almost to Fargo when you're in Fergus Falls. So
yeah, it's a tough one.
No, that's good. Yeah. And
Belle Plaine New Ulm is also another one. I know I like Belle Plaine's quarterback. Speaking of quarterbacks, there, I think it's a lesser of you think big matchups, big records. I think both of these teams are 1 and 2, but the case is that there's a reason they're 1 and 2 for good reasons. Sure. It's not like they're 1 and 2 for bad reasons. So I think it is two good teams going at it. That
no, I agree. Strength of schedule matters, but I do think when you, like I said, I'm going to go back and repeat what I said earlier. That 1 and 2 record going into week 4 is key. Getting yourself back to level as opposed to going to 1 and 3, I think psychologically is a thing, because now you really start looking at your schedule, like where can we find a win on here? As you're getting through that back half. So this will be crucial for their season, no doubt.
Yeah, like you look at New Ulm's schedule, they lost to Fairmont and Albert Lee, which are, some of the best teams in their respective classes. And Belle Plaine, they lost to Waseca and Norwood Young America, which I think they might be on my list going forward. I think they might play this week. But, yeah, again, two really good teams that they lost to that, I like where that thing's going. But Class 3A, Albany will be happy with me because I bumped them back up to my 2 spot after Fairmont goes down a few spots to 5. Waseca goes up. Holy Family bumps up after you talked about winning a close one this week. Yeah, nail biter over there.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with Annandale first. They're kind of a behemoth, if you ask me, at 3A. They're a team, I think, if they were playing 4A, they would still be probably in first or second line. They're really solid. But yeah, working through that line, I'll bias number 4, Holy Family. I watched most of that game. I thought that was a character builder for them, because you have to make believers out of your team. And you've played in games, I played in games, and I've coached in games where you can feel the air come out of the team when you've been leading the whole game. And Holy Family led up until about 2 minutes and 34 seconds. They led in that game. Right. And Howard Lake sticks one in on them. Howard Lake's a solid team, big players, really good looking quarterback, and just do things really well, both sides of the ball. And you get the ball back with 2 minutes left in the game, and you got to and you have to score a touchdown. You're down 4, and they dial one up on the 4th play after a decent kickoff return, and throw a post corner route with about a minute left in the game, and get a win. And I think those are the types of wins. And there's a few others on the list, not to just hog that game, but a few others even like Cass and Manderville, where they were behind again and came back and scored the touchdown at the end. And you make believers out of your team. I think some games are over when that happens because you have teams that like, here we go again, like we can't find a way to win. And you have other teams that they've been winners, they've been successful. And when something like that happens, they just shrug their shoulders like, give us the ball, let's go, right? And so I think that is something you can't coach that. You can't set it up in practice, any of those types of things, that you have to live it and then, use that experience moving forward. So those are big, big things for teams, not just Holy Family, but any of the teams that are going through that for sure.
Yeah. Let's go to the second and third row. Pine Island, Cotter play Thursday night. And I think I'm going to be able to get to that one.
Okay.
Intriguing. Top 15 matchup in a class for my view. I think that's going to be, I don't know, a fun one to get to just because I don't know a whole lot about the two teams.
Pine Island's I looked at a couple of their clips. They got good offense, man. Really good defense, though. They went down to Zambroda last week, and another place for you to learn. Goose-egged them, Zambroda, Mazeppa. That's down the south area. You're on your way to kind of Red Wing. Cool, beautiful area, by the way, this time of year. So you'll have a fun drive. But yeah, that will be a good matchup. I like that. That's a pick for you.
Yeah, Litchfield, I think, is a team that barely lost to Albany at the start of the season. That I think, what is it? The Dragons.
Ooh,
Dragons could make some noise. I think that's maybe it couldn't be a Gator. Not in Minnesota. It's got to be a Dragon.
More likely to have a Dragon in Minnesota than a Gator, I guess. But whatever. Send me a T-shirt. Tell those guys send me a T-shirt. I got T-shirts coming, man. I'm so excited. I'm going to keep hitting people up. I'll wear the shirt on here. So here we go.
I think we've talked about North enough. They play Washburn this upcoming week.
Easy win.
Hey, Washburn, a 5A team. For North's schedule, Washburn is probably the most competitive team on the regular season schedule. So that's why it's intriguing to me, as far as we get to see a little bit of what they're all about, because it's going to be the most that they're going to be tested in 8 weeks.
I like two of my favorite coaches. I like Coach Galindo is a good dude there, and Coach Owe at North. And I just think North is just, their speed is going to be tough to deal with, but I'll pick North still.
Yeah. Breck football is apparently back. We've got the message. I got the message, I think, from their football page on Instagram that Breck football is back. So it's good to see. It's good to see. You think this North game is going to be a blowout? Which
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I just think that North is. I love their quarterback. Is that Lackenmeyer? How do you say his name?
Lackermeyer.
Lackermeyer, yeah. I went to Lackerlock. I watched his clips, and he's intriguing, and he's made big plays. And I just like North's skill position. Like, they bring a lot of speed to the
not your typical quarterback, kind of like a Cade Sheehan, like a little dude. I don't know. I haven't seen him run a ton, but just kind of like that, shorter build, not your, if you built a quarterback in a lab, it wouldn't be his, it wouldn't
not
be
for
his
me
size,
anyway.
He can sling it.
I just think it's any of those times those quarterbacks can, create time. It's just hard on the defense, even when they don't like scramble and run it. Just making teams have to cover longer is just harder. So he's able to do that, and he's thrown a heck of a lot of touchdown passes already. So
yeah,
I'm picking North.
He's got the athletes to make that happen. Pillager, Dilworth, Glendon, Felton. Is that right?
That is DGF, Dilworth, Glendon, Felton. They used to be the Locomotives, the Locomotives, because they have a big train yard there. Dilworth.
It's a Jurassic logo shift or whatever.
Yeah, it's Dilworth, and then the city of Glendon and the city of Felton. So, that's a co-op, and they've been around a while. So it's been a solid program. They've had solid sports there for a long time.
I can tell you that game is going to affect the rankings going into week 5. Definitely. I definitely want to see what's going to come out of that game. Yeah. I think I already talked about Norwood playing Waseca. That's going to be a good game, especially
that's a rivalry game. Like those teams, what are they? I don't know, 15, 20 minutes apart, like those two towns, like they're right by each other. So
I wouldn't know.
I see you got to get out there. I drive around Minnesota county fairs all summer, brother. So that's my life in the summer. But yeah, you know what I'll tell you, when you get out that way, we need as a sponsor on this show, we need Quick Trip.
Quick Trip.
Quick Trip.
It's a big one. It's a big fish.
I'm telling you that if you get out in those small towns and you're coming home from a game, you're going to want to stop. That's the place to be. So I live at that.
24 hours.
That's the key. Best
There's
food
not a lot of there. Yeah. When I'm making those big trips, there's not a lot that's open after a game. When I get back at 1 or 2 a.m.
I use my Google Maps. That's the first thing I look at. Is there going to be a Quick Trip on the way? So
some
they
people
should sponsor
really
us here. We're not even. I am. So I'm telling you, like, if they hear this, somebody in Quick Trips watching this, like,
I have a family member. This is a tangent, but he goes to Quick Trips just to check them off, which is insane to me.
I wouldn't do that, but I've never been sad about the food I get there. So especially at 1 o'clock in the morning on a road trip home. So anyway, you'll find something. All right, what else we got on here?
Well, I think did we talk about Albany Piers already? But I think that's also a good game. Piers has a chance to make a statement here. When you get to, I think Piers is a good team. When you get to play a top 3, top 2 team, it's really no loss. And obviously there is a loss, but you can go into that game not with no expectation that you're going to win and kind of play free, play to win.
Yeah, for sure. Good matchup.
Let's go to 2A.
Yes.
Holdingford.
Yeah, I think you can say it that way. I think a lot of people say it like F-E, like they pronounce it like an E, like Holdingford, like Holdingford. I don't know if they, but I think in the world of broadcasting, I think you enunciate it that way as probably professional. So I'll let you say it.
The Huskers. I'll just say the Huskers.
Yeah.
Really impressed with what they got going on over there. I think even the top 10 of this. I think the one caveat to that is Jackson County Central, right? But I think could be a lot of movement from 2 to 10, especially given like certain matchups this week. Triton, I think, plays Chatfield.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like Triton is a little low in there for strength of schedule.
I heard somebody say that Pierce Peterson broke his collarbone or something.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different then.
I have yet to confirm that, but that was a rumor from a couple of shout out Southland guys that talked to me when I went to Kingsland that they mentioned. And
also that that I know we just spent too much time talking about quarterbacks, but that Kingsland quarterback is a dude.
We'll get to him.
Okay. I'm hold that thought because man, I watch those highlights and I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Eden Valley Watkins is another one of my favorite teams that has played. I just like them. I have them high. I think they gave Minnesota a good scare again, like we already talked about. Like I said,
but you think those games, Cass, like those games where you're playing and you give somebody a scare, but Minnesota doesn't like sweat. Like they're like, well, we've been here, like, right? They have the confidence to go, I'm not worried about this. I think that does matter. And, when you're playing those teams, it's like, well, how does this go the other way?
I think it's a confidence booster.
Absolutely.
Like for what you think, like X factors when you're in Madden or whatever, and it like boosts your confidence and makes your team play better. If you play Minnesota that tight, even if you lose, I can guarantee you're going to play the rest of the season a little bit better than you actually are.
Yeah, you can use it. It's coaches always say I hate moral victories, but there's something to it. Realizing you have a measuring stick is what you're saying, right? And you're saying, well, if we can almost beat this team that has a really good chance to win the whole thing, like where are we the rest of the way? We should feel pretty good about that. So I agree with that.
I love moral victories as a ranker. Now I've come to find out it is about moral victories in a sense that, like if I'm on the team, I would hate to lose it. And it's like such a tough loss, but I can look at it from a non-biased lens and be like, that's a really good loss. And you guys are really close. And I don't get to experience the heartbreak. It's fun.
Yeah, no, from a player standpoint, coaching standpoint is different. Like I said, I was talking to one of the coaches today, and I just said, 37 years of coaching, and I said probably at the halfway point of my career is when you start getting successful, where your teams are winning and you're getting to the state tournament. The thing that happens to you as a coach is the wins never feel as exhilarating as the losses get under your skin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like, well, we were supposed to win and you just put it away. But when you lose, you just dissect,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that's different. For players, it's totally different. It's their one time. So they only have that short chapter. So, but it is important. There's no question.
Yeah, Barnesville being the biggest dropper in these rankings, playing a Pillager team that I think, again, we'll find more out about how good Pillager is. And you could look at that loss to say it's not that bad of a loss after we get context of how we see the season shake out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I know Barnesville's a good team, though, so I didn't want to drop them. I think they had to go behind Pillager just based on the score. I think sometimes a team can beat a team that's better than them and not necessarily, jump them in the rankings. But I
Right.
think it was the case where I do think Pillager is a better team than as far from my knowledge that I have. And we'll just see how things shake out from there. But that's just one of the other biggest developments coming from this 2A class.
Yeah, no, I think you're on the right track there. There's some good matchups. Like when you look at these teams and then you see the rivalry setups here that are coming are really fun. And we're talking about teams that, like, these smaller towns are close together. Friday Night Lights in those towns is a big deal, and it is everywhere. But I think sometimes in these smaller towns, there's nothing else going on, man. It's not like there's a Twins game in town or some people get distracted by the Gopher game or whatever. Like, this is it, right? So, that's exciting. And I think we're getting to that, like I said, that midway point is going to be fun.
The 19th, 20th, and 21st teams in this, which is Caledonia, St. Charles, and Rushford Peterson, were the three hardest to rank in this, because if you look, they've all played each other, and the results that transpired would make the teams really hard to rank, because I'll spare you going through all the results, but a team A beat Team B, but then Team B beat Team C.
C beat A.
So it's like, what?
It's like a round robin tournament. I got you.
No matter what happens, someone's probably going to be pissed at me in the, like how I ranked it, because maybe they have a head-to-head win over the team that's over them. But that was definitely my most challenging, probably of all the classes, to decipher who's who and who's where. But it comes with the territory.
Yeah, no, that's just the reality of it. And really, it's like I got told one time when I was upset about our QRF ranking, and I emailed them. I'm like, we're behind a team we beat. Like, how and how does that work? And he goes, just win more games. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? But there really is. You just got to win games. Go prove it. If you don't like the ranking, then win your next game. Beat that team. So that's the key.
You'd rather be ranked too low and prove people wrong than be ranked too high and disappoint.
Yeah. My first lesson in coaching, legendary coach in my hometown, like I coached forever, right? And he found out I got a head coaching job, and he said, make sure you tell all the people when they ask how you're going to be that you're just hoping to win a game. Because if you win 2, you're a genius, right? So it's like low expectations, high aspirations, right? That's the plan.
Yes. Before we get into the matchups, Greenway, Nashua, Keewatin. Ooh, that's probably a butcher by me.
Where you at? Hold on.
It's the bottommost middle. It's the kind of like Martian looking logo. I think we talked about it last one. Greenway, Nashua, Nashwick.
Yeah.
They played D River super tough, which is a very quality loss that I saw. I got to read some of the Instagram comments from last week's ranking, and somebody was like, yeah, way too high. But They have 2 wins, and they have, in my eyes, what could be a very quality loss to a D River team. And maybe D River's not as good as of a team, and we find that out later as we go on through the season. But I just wanted to stop the Greenway slander a little bit.
Yeah. Also, I'm stunned right now.
The Titans. It's the Titans, not
I
the.
see the logo, but I'm trying to do my geography. Greenway National. I want to. If I had to guess and I had to put my money on it, I want to say we're up in the Brainerd area, but I feel like that's
Send a
right.
T-shirt.
Send me a T-shirt. I'll put it on and rep your exact latitude and longitude. Like, I feel badly because I should know that one, but anyway, all the other ones I know.
Well,
dang it.
Yes.
All right.
Here are the two.
Oh, Chatfield, Triton.
Yeah,
I like that game a lot. Unless we've got a key injury with Triton, but
I still think Triton's even okay. Let's say, because it was speculation, it's not confirmed by anybody. With or without, I think it still has the potential to be a good game, which is encouraging.
Yeah,
encouraging.
Oh, without a doubt. And there's your Huskers. Hollingford, Osakis.
Hollingford.
Yes.
Hollingford. Yeah, you look at these, and you look at misclick. So you look at the rankings, and you look at these two. Mm-hmm. These 4 are in the top 10.
Yep.
So not many times you get to see 2 top 10 matchups. Usually it's like one.
I want to put these on my notes because I want to watch these clips.
Yes.
I want to watch these clips for
again, 2 games that are going to affect the rankings. They're really going to shake things up. Like I said, 2 through 10, I think can get mucked up a little bit, especially depending on the results. So, 2 fun games that are going to be.
I want to let the listeners know that I'm popping into this thing without knowing what you're going to throw out there. So that's why when I'm taking notes, it's like I didn't know what you were picking for matchups. That's cool. And I had a couple people reach out to me that really liked the scheme stuff that we did last week.
Yep.
And I had to tell them, and I would tell everybody this, I didn't see those beforehand. So you're throwing them at me, and which I don't mind. I mean, it's football. I love talking scheme and football. So, but I was like, I did not know what I was even going to see. So, but this stuff's fun. It is fun. I think it is more intriguing when you just kind of like less, pre-knowledge. Sometimes you can just go with your gut.
Right. I like schematic things, and I think there's more to come on that. Not this episode, because I was a little behind this. I got to do the scoreboards. Sick, I was sick. I got to do the scoreboards for the whole, state, and then I got to do the rankings, which takes up a lot of the weekends during the season. But yeah, it's 8 weeks of fun, I guess. It's only 8 weeks, so 3 hours of sleep there, 4 hours of sleep. It's kind of a coach's life, during season of not getting a lot of sleep.
You're taking care of the baby, right? This is you. I appreciate it, man. If people don't realize, your graphics, all the highlights you put together, it takes a lot of time, and it's really awesome. So I hope people are enjoying that, because it's fun to watch for me too.
Yes, let's go on to 1A. Does anything pop out? I know we talked about D River. That was one of the teams I talked about just based on last class of playing a team that I had ranked and getting, D River winning. But yeah, is there anything? MIB had a forfeit. So if you were looking at the scoreboard, I think they played Ely, and it was a 1-0 game. But that's just I've come to realize the lower. You see like 60 teams or whatever in 9-man, but those not 30 games happen for 9-man, just because there are some forfeits, or some schools don't play every week, stuff like that.
Well, and when you get those smaller rosters, man, it doesn't take more than a couple injuries to make it almost impossible. And it's like I always say to people, like, well, look at all the guys on the sideline. It's like, well, not every guy plays every position. So if you're when you're playing 1A, you still need 11 different players. You need 5 offensive linemen. So if you have 5 offensive linemen and somebody goes down, it's like, well, there's guys standing there. Well, that guy plays D-back. He's not going to go out and play left guard, So, and same thing. You had a left guard, extra left guard, but he doesn't play corner, So it's that kind of stuff. That's a challenge at that level. I give those coaches a lot of credit for all the plan B that they have to do, and players that have to know positions they probably, hopefully, don't have to play, but have to know because of the roster size. So 1A is a challenge. There's no doubt.
Yes, for sure.
As far as anything else in there, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know I don't have that schedule right in front of me, but are there any matchups between anybody in the top 10?
From last week?
No, for coming up this week, the 1A.
Coming up this week. Well, let's see if my Springfield Dawson Boyd is one of them. And gosh, Ruthven, dang it, Tyler, Ruthven, Tyler.
Hold on here.
Russell Tyler Ruthven, I think it
Russell Tyler Ruthven. Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's I'm trying to think. I think a Vikings quarterback is from there. Played at St. Cloud State. When I can't remember his name right now. Why am I blanking on this? Somebody's going to message you now. Anyway, I think that's where he's from.
Don't expect me to know that.
No, I'm looking that up. So the Springfield matchup and I can't see the logo thing on here.
Dawson Boyd.
Oh, that's the Blackjacks? That's their logo? Are they still the Blackjacks? They must be. Yeah.
A black jackrabbit, maybe?
There must be a black jackrabbit.
Yeah.
I never thought of what it was.
The funny thing is I was thinking of what it is, of what their logo would be called, because I know their logo, but I don't know what it's like. They're not nobody would call themselves the bunnies. It would be, it would be a jackrabbit. They're called the Blackjacks.
They're called the Blackjacks, I'm pretty sure. So I do appreciate Breckenridge stealing the Wyoming logo.
And making it green.
And make it a green, because they are the Cowboys, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do like Murray County Central, kind of a Yosemite Sam look right there.
Murray County Central, a 1-2 team that I have in the top 10.
I love it, because they had a tough schedule to start with.
Very tough, yes.
But I like their logo too. I'd wear that T-shirt. Hey, somebody at Murray County Central, hit me up. I'll give you an address.
I think Fillmore Central has a Saturday game against United South Central. It didn't make my list of games necessarily, because I think United South Central might be, are they 2A? I can't think off the top of my head. So there's a lot of teams that blend in, but that's a game where I think I've heard good things about Fillmore Central's quarterback.
The reason I know Fillmore Central is it's another place that's down in Southwest Minnesota. When I used to have to drive to Marshall when Connor was playing down there. And they have a state championship sign up there with that logo on it. So I was thinking of that when I see it. So
easy to say too.
Yep, nice. You got it. You can recognize it, no doubt. I still think Lakeville's your team. Lakeview, now that you'd have down there, last week you had them at 14. Where are they at this week?
No, they're off.
Oh, dude. Oh, they get beat?
Yeah.
Because they had a big win the week before. And I still think, Coach Johnson at Minneota still thinks they're going to be a team at the end that makes a run at the section with them. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
They had two real big wins against 0-3 teams. Okay. And then they play the aforementioned Russell Tyler Ruthven team, and it goes 14-42, not their way, which kind of, it wouldn't be as big of a deal if they didn't, beat up on two 0-3 teams at the start of the season.
Sure.
But that just, it causes me panic alarms, and maybe they'll turn off for week 5 and week 6. But I think there were some more deserving teams that jumped them. So, yeah. I
mean, like I said, we've talked about this before. Week 4 to me is the tipping point on the seesaw, teeter-totter, where your season can go, especially if you're a 1-2 team. Even a 2-1 team, a 2-1 team where you feel like you're climbing and all of a sudden you're 500. But where I feel like if you're a 1-2 team and you get that back to 500, you have that glimpse of light and hope to get you to that back half and get a better seed in the section tournament. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I think I want to say Park Christian was one of the teams that jumped up that I think I had ranked at the start. kind of a Lakeview thing where they went out and now they're back into the 20th spot.
Right.
Yeah, I think they had a good win against Pine River Bacchus, which is one spot underneath them.
Pine River Bacchus, right by my cabin.
Yes, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Pine River Bacchus up there. That's
They don't
that's
even
a
have
beautiful
to
area.
ship the T-shirt. They can just.
I haven't met those guys. I should.
Up.
Yeah, I just go to the cabin bag. I should go over there to the school and see those guys when I'm up there in the summer. Check it out and grab some swag and promote it on the show. Right.
Let's go to
next week, swag's going to be on the show. I got 2 shirts coming. I might wear them both. I might halfway through take one off for you. So we'll see.
Oh god! Here we go. Great. Let's get to 9-man. There we go. Hills Beaver Creek. One doesn't change. What was it? Yeah, Stephen Argyle lost last week.
They won. They were
number one. Yep.
They got a 6-0 shutout or something like that.
Yeah, a good game. Kitson County Central. I think we talked about them last podcast. Shooting up the rankings. Shooting up. We talked about Kingsland. You were wanting to talk about their quarterback.
Yeah.
30 minutes ago. Now is your time. Go for it.
No, I watched your clips
and
I'm
Marland.
Like, yeah, he's a dude. I loved his athletic ability and how hard he ran. And man, he is a kid at that level with that athletic ability is dynamic. So he's fun to watch. And I'm guessing he puts some people in the stands when you have a kid like that. You can put points on the board with.
Yes, for sure. One of the things you said I got to go to a Kingsland game and go to it. He's committed as a running back to UMD. So one of those, it happens a lot where a kid plays quarterback for the team just because he's the best athlete on the team, and then he goes to play college.
We can go, we can go all the way back to 6A and Francois, the kid at Minnetonka. Like he had to take over the quarterback last year when Milo got hurt at Minnetonka, and now he's probably one of the best running backs in the state. It comes back to athletes. Are you an athlete? You can probably play 5 positions if you're an athlete. So help your team out, right?
Yes. I knew he was. I got to see him play a little bit in Kingsland. He's been on the map for
Sure.
As I think as a sophomore, he was at the bank, and that's really when I wasn't running the Minnesota High School Football Network, but I was just an observer of high school football. And man, even 2 years ago, he was really impressive. So it makes sense that he's a standout here. Mille Lacs jumping into the 3rd spot, a big win against Cromwell Wright. And I interviewed for a local station kind of in that area, and I was like, Mille Lacs, this is kind of going to be, a good test because they played an 0-3 team and a 1-2 team. So playing a Cromwell Wright team that was in my top 5 is going to be, something to behold. And they lived up to the hype, 26-20, getting a big win.
Yeah, I mean, those are the wins that you need to make your team believers, like I talked about earlier. Especially when a team is ranked higher than you and they've had a tradition that is maybe overall better than yours has been, and your kids kind of have a uphill battle, and you pull that off, and all of a sudden, like you said, it's not moral victories sometimes on the other side where it's like you can grab something and really run with the confidence of that too. Yeah.
Alden Conger was the team that played Kingsland. A little bit just that game ended, I think, 2 minutes into the second half because an Alden Conger player had to get airlifted to a hospital, and they ended up cutting that short. And I'm talking with the family and trying to get a GoFundMe set up to cover some medical costs. So definitely it's in the works right now. I don't know when it'll for sure be done, but definitely keep your eyes on that, viewers. And obviously you don't have to support, but if you are in the financial situation to support, it would be a really good cause. I know I did a GoFundMe for a player last year that people were generous enough to donate, and the money goes straight to the family. It's just me kind of going through the details and getting it up on the platform to make it kind of available, because Alden Conger doesn't have, like, I was in the town. They don't have a ton of, people. And when a situation happens like that is so crazy, first of all, it's kind of just like taking a step back, because I was talking to the Southland guys, like, I can't imagine what that parent on the sideline has to go through, and it's kind of just a reality check.
Hopefully the player is doing well.
Yeah.
But and I hope, like I said, all that being said, that helicopter ride is not cheap.
Yeah.
So, and it's necessary, and you don't get to say no to that sometimes, but the bill still shows up. So yeah, if you can help that family out, even to help cover that portion of it, I think that's a big help to the family.
Yeah. So Minnesota high school football, it's a community, even though we got our own little communities as well. Yeah. It's a big one. So look out for that. Support it if you're, in the financial situation to do so. But other than that, do you see any other things that leap out on the pages before we get to some of the matchups?
No, I think
Hillcrest. Do you know which Hillcrest is? Hillcrest, like, I think
it's an academy, but I'm not sure. Is that in Alexandria?
You're asking geography questions.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to look that up. Like, this is my stuff. I feel like I gotta,
I'm at the point where I know logos. I'm not too much on geography. I could probably go toe to toe with anybody in Minnesota with logos, but when it comes to geography of where those logos come from,
I know a guy that I teach and coach with. He would be able to tell you where every one of these are. So
yeah,
I could feel confident in half of them, finding them on a map. So, but yeah, it's tough, especially with sometimes they use a different name than where the town is too. So anyway.
Yeah, I think Houston was on my rankings, I think in the 20s a little bit. I don't know if it was last week, 2 weeks ago, or the week before that. Mm-hmm. They got an Alden Conger game, which that game was cut short, but I mean, the game ended. I don't know what it was, but it was within one score when the game ended. So I think it's probably a little unfair dropping Alden Conger down 2 spots, especially with the situation that happened. But I think a win either over Houston or Houston makes another statement and beats Alden Conger, I think, is also something to keep an eye out for. But yeah, Hillcrest was an undefeated team that hasn't played a lot of good people. I think is it Huron Lake? Heron. There's, I don't know. I don't keep tally of how many mispronunciations I have, but I think we're a little bit better than last week. Heron Lake.
I was close on Hillcrest Academy. It's in Fergus Falls.
Okay.
I had to look that up.
Okay, I got you.
I knew it was up in that area somewhere, but
close. I think Heron's the opposite case of, they have not an undefeated record, but again, it's one of those things when you look at it and you go, they lost to Adrian Ellsworth and Hills Beaver Creek. Mm-hmm. Nobody's gonna beat Hills Beaver Creek. That's not, in the top 5.
Right.
And so what can you do? And then Adrian Ellsworth, they lost by 2 points. So just another one that the reasoning why I have them at 25, and maybe some people that aren't on the list are like, we have a better record than them, but there's a lot of those cases. So, but let's get to the last portion, intriguing matchups. Can you see these logos?
I can see it's at Kitson County Central.
Okay.
I can see that. I know what KCC is, and I can see the logos, but I can't tell I don't know what schools those are. Is that Stephen Argyle on the right?
No, it's not.
What is it?
It is.
So Goodrich is the Buffaloes there, or the Bulls or Bison.
Yep.
Kitson County, I see that one. Man, that's tough. Is that Spring Grove on the left?
Nope.
Who is that?
See?
I can't see that. Is it Ogilvy?
Ogilvy, yes it is.
There we go. I got it.
And do you know which one the Pirate is?
Verndale.
Yes,
right,
Verndale. One of my favorite cities to say. I just love the way it rolls off the tongue. But two really good matchups. Kitson County, they've kind of just been battling uphill and like winning, like
Yeah.
they've started not in my rankings and they've been just making their way up. And now they're playing, another top 5 team. And, when they beat Stephen Argyle and they beat Goodridge, that's going to vault you into the top 5. So there's a kind of a lot on it for the rankings as far as
and not just our rankings, but there's a lot on their seedings coming up too, and where they're going to be. But hey, just an FYI, just because Hills Beaver Creek is almost to Sioux Falls, like it's down on the Iowa border.
Yes,
it's west of Worthington, so you're out there.
I know where that one is because I've wanted to get out to see Metzger. Bush is another. They got 2 real good players over there, and their roster is stacked beyond those 2.
That's 4 hours, buddy.
Yeah,
to get over there. So you better
I'm
take
aware.
the day off. So, and you're going to need that quick trip on the way home too, at least once, maybe twice.
Know if they've had. I think I looked to see because that's one of the teams I wanted to get to. And I don't know if they've had the Saturday games are like my trip games.
Sure.
So hopefully they have a Saturday day game coming up, but we'll see. But yeah, two matchups that are going to be fun to watch for 9-man and a lot of good football. No matter what class you're in, you can definitely see what's happening around the league. I think it's going to be definitely.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Like I said, I think week 4 is, we could say it every week, but I think week 1 is kind of our first time we get to see who's for real sometimes. But I think week 4 is where things settle in because you start to get enough crossovers of games. Teams have played other teams where you can at least compare scores, and teams either make a statement or they can climb off of it, or sometimes they just kind of float downhill on it. So we'll know a lot. Next week's show is going to be really fun, I think, with some of the matchups that we have coming up on Friday night.
Yes, it will be. I think I mentioned the Cotter game that I'm going to get to. I think I wanted to say there's a Fillmore Central night game on Saturday that I'll get to go to, but my Friday's up in the air for right now. I'll probably make a post about it sometime tomorrow, seeing again where people want me, what.
Yeah, shout it out.
It's always good to see. It's always good to see that. But
those locals know when their games are going to happen. And then, hey, the other thing we don't do on here at the end is, and enough probably, is if you're watching the show and you like it, send it to other people.
Yeah,
send the link to other people and hit the subscribe button and then hit that share button up at the top and send it around to more people. I mean, there's about each week it's almost 1,500 views, and this thing should be at 3,000 because there's nobody else out doing what you're providing here, and especially the top to bottom nine player all the way to 6A. I think a lot of the programs that are out there talk a lot about 6A, and I think covering it top to bottom and the players top to bottom too is important. So share it out there if you're listening and you like it, and send us some feedback and what you want to hear too, and maybe there's some matchups that we're missing out on.
Yeah, get active in those comments. I like responding to comments as well. So yeah, I should say that before we get started, but we got to get.
Well, I always feel like if they're still listening,
to get into it.
Yeah, well, if they're still listening to us at the end, here we go. Right, hit the click, share it to somebody, tell them all about it.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Coach, for joining me once again, and can't wait to do it.
Really fun. Again. Let's have some good football week 4. Let's get after it.